Hello everyone, welcome back to another great episode of Raihana's Cuisines. Today we're going to be doing my take on lasagna. This is not the traditional way of doing lasagna, but this is the way my family likes it. So I'm going to tell you a little about what we're going to be using as far as the ingredients, and then I'll tell you what goes in a traditional lasagna if you would like to know. So for this recipe, we're going to be using 1 jar of pizza sauce. Now, I don't like using pasta sauce in this just because I think it's too runny, so I like using the pizza sauce, and you can use any brand pizza sauce that you like. I also have here my wheat lasagna noodles, and I've already baked these or boiled these and already put some olive oil in it to help it from sticking, because I don't think you wanted to see me boiling lasagna. So the lasagna sheets are done. Then I've got here roughly 2 cups of freshly cut baby spinach. They're just roughly chopped, and this is optional if you want that in there or not, but I feel like it really doesn't alter the taste, so I'm going to go ahead and use the spinach. We're also going to do some Parmesan cheese. Now you can use the fresh block of Parmesan cheese, which I usually use, but I'm out of it, so we're going to go with the bottled dried one. We also have oregano leaves and we have basil leaves. Now again, with basil, you can go with fresh basil if you like. Winter has struck here, so I don't have I don't have a way to go get fresh basil and all the fresh, so I used the dry ones. I also have ground beef here, and I'm not going to be using the whole thing. I'm only going to be using 1.5 cups of the ground beef, which is already cooked. Then I have some mozzarella cheese, and I also have some cheddar cheese that I have shredded. Now, while I am layering my lasagna, I'm going to tell you about what really goes in a traditional lasagna. They do have ricotta cheese that goes in the lasagna, and they add an egg in there. And I just, for my kids, they don't like the ricotta cheese in there. It gets a bit too heavy, and so I don't like my stuff too heavy. So this is why I don't add the ricotta, but if you wanted to, you could. It's completely okay. So at first, what I'm going to do is in my casserole dish here, let's go ahead and measure it because I don't know what the measurements are. So this is a 9 by 13 glass casserole dish. I added about a tablespoon of pizza sauce on the bottom, and this is just so that the lasagna sheets will not stick. Okay, so you see some of them are deformed, cut. That's okay, no one's gonna see how the lasagna sheets are gonna be, so I'm just gonna patch up my lasagna sheets where I need to. Now what I like to do is just take my sheets. I usually have about 3 on the bottom and then 3 in the second the top layer. So okay, and just follow the directions on the package on how to boil or how long to boil your pasta for. Okay, lasagna sheets. Now I personally have tried the ready-made lasagna sheets. I don't fancy it, so I don't use it. Okay, so onto my lasagna sheets, I'm gonna go ahead and add more pasta sauce. And what I'm doing is I'm not adding a whole lot. You see, I'm just adding a little bit, but then once the layers are all done, it'll just be the right amount. Because if you put like a whole amount in one layer, it's gonna be like off balanced when you cut it too. So I'm just gonna cover it just like that. Now I'm going to add a little bit of my spinach on the bottom layer, and you don't have to go all out and do like too much. Just small layer of it is okay. And this is uncooked, so it's gonna cook really well. I don't like using the frozen one because of the texture. It gets very slimy in there. Okay, so once we put our spinach in there, now I'm gonna go ahead and add my ground beef. And you just want to sprinkle it, just to cover the layers. Okay, so we have that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a layer of cheddar cheese. And a layer of mozzarella cheese. And you can see that I'm not topping it too much because we're still going to have one more layer. Now we're going to go ahead, sprinkle Parmesan cheese on it. Go ahead and sprinkle some oregano on it. And some basil leaves. And it already smells really wonderful. You know, they're dried leaves, but they still smell amazing. So again, we're gonna go back and do a layer of our pasta. They're slippery and they're slimy because I put the oil in there to prevent it from sticking. See how I like using the broken pieces to cover up. This video is also going to be available in Gujarati for all you who want to watch the Gujarati ones. I'm going to cover these. I'm going to use this for my Gujarati video. So again, we're going to go ahead and add our spaghetti sauce on top, or not, sorry, pizza sauce on top. Now this is going to go in our 350 degree preheated Fahrenheit degree oven, and this is going to bake in there for about 30 to 35 minutes covered. I'm going to cover it with foil so the steam is going to cook it up really well. And then once the 35 minutes are up, I am going to take off the foil, and then I'll sprinkle it with more cheddar and more mozzarella, put it in to move the temperature up to 400 degrees, and just put it in there until the cheese gets all melted. Okay, now again, I'm just going to add just a little bit more of my oregano, basil, and Parmesan cheese, and then go ahead and add a little bit more cheese. I'm not going to add too much because I want to add another layer on top as well. So there we have it. So I'm going to go ahead, put this in the oven, 35 minutes. When we come back, I am going to go ahead and cut it and show you exactly what our layers will look like. It's piping hot, and look at that, super moist. So now at this point, we will add more cheese on top and stick it back into the oven at 450 just until our cheese is really nice and bubbly. We'll take it out, we'll cut it, and I'm going to let you know exactly how it looks and what it tastes like. So I'm going to get my lasagna out, and the cheese is really nice and bubbly. I don't want the cheese to dry out. So, okay. So we're gonna give it, I'm gonna cut it and see. You can tell that it's super cheesy. And look at that. Now, if you wanted to do couple layers where it looks thick, you can do that. But like I said, we don't like it very heavy, and you can see the layers of the pasta and the ground beef. And now I'm going to do a quick taste test. You have to remember, this is straight out from the oven. It's super hot, but it's moist and it's super delicious. I like the cheese. It's not too heavy, but the flavors are pretty subtle and just amazing. So this is just a very simple, very not heavy version of the way we eat our lasagna. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Raihana's Cuisines. Hope you can join me here next time with another great video. There is a video that I've done with focaccia bread that we're going to be eating with the lasagna. So make sure and hop on to watching that video after you've watched this one.